Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another video here on the channel. In this video, I'm gonna get right into it. Is directly inspired by the channel Punk Rock Raider. Link in the description to check them out. And so over there, they had their wives and girlfriends give them 2 songs from 10 of their favorite bands, and they did the same for their wives and girlfriends. And on camera, they did a big ranking. I thought it was super cool, and I wanted to do something similar with people that I know. And in this video, I got my sister to give me 5 bands and artists that she likes a lot, picked out 2 songs, and here we go. And I also did the same for her, obviously. That's the whole point of the video. Right away, the first artist that I listened to was Halsey. The first song that she gave me was Control, and right away I had to say, I of course love Halsey's voice. Halsey has a great voice. Her voice in this song, I said, it reminds me a bit of Lynn Gunn from Paris, and I said this is good, but it's not really something I'd listen to very often. And the next Halsey song was Die For Me, and I said I already don't like this as much as Control. I didn't feel the need to say that I really like the part that starts at 40 seconds.
I hope you think about me every time you touch it. I hope your new girl hears it and she loves it.
But ultimately, this song is interesting. I like half the song, but there's also parts of it I don't like. But the thing that I felt the need to specify, I don't like the use of bass in this song, because it's not bass like a bass guitar, but instead it's the kind of bass that just comes from someone's obnoxious stereo setup. Like, we all know the one person who's got the subwoofers in their car and they've got the windows down, bass turned all the way up. They're annoying and obnoxious, and that's the kind of bass that's in this song. Obviously not as annoying as those obnoxious people, but yeah, that's the kind of bass. Again, not like a bass guitar. And which, to be fair, I've never really liked bass like that, and like I've never really liked, say, back when dubstep was still super huge in the early 2010s. I didn't really like or understand the whole wait for the bass drop thing. I didn't like that either, so no surprise there, really. But yeah, so I didn't like that. Overall thoughts, I don't dislike either Halsey song. They're both fine, but also not anything I'd listen to regularly. Control feels a bit innocuous, but it's fine. And Die For Me, I almost like, but I'd personally tone down the bass a lot. But I do like Halsey's voice a lot, and Halsey feels like the perfect candidate to place right in the middle of my tier list, right in the bronze tier. So next up was the artist Mathika, and the first song is Casualty. And I had to say right away, I already liked Casualty more than the stuff from Halsey. It fits in with what I listen to more. Her voice is great, and the chorus is good, if a bit basic lyrically. I like the instrumental, even if it feels really similar to popular rock today. And that's not taking anything away from it, it just feels a bit familiar, even though I've never listened to it. And the next song is Buzzkill. And I said the way this song opens actually reminds me of a couple of songs on Bring Me's Post-Human Next Gen. The vocal melody is also similar as well.
I'm a buzzkill, I'm a broken one, I'm a victim of the things you've done, I'm a phantom.
Thinking I should drop dead, eat shit, go to hell. I could jump head first out the window.
The song's good, totally fine, but I did feel the need to say, what was that rap in the bridge? Not bad or anything. I mean, I didn't personally care for it, but it's not bad. I just felt the need to ask, like, what was that rap in the bridge? Like, what? That was a bit weird. Overall thoughts on Mathika with the 2 songs there. I said I enjoyed both of these more than the Halsey songs, but I still didn't love them. I genuinely did like Casualty quite a bit, and Buzzkill is fine, so I'd give Mathika a solid silver tier. Next up is generally one of my sister's favorite bands, if not her favorite band, Motionless in White. The 2 songs she gave me was, number 1, Catharsis, which I said first thought, the vocal melody feels very familiar, but I can't quite put my finger on it. And then I said in the second verse, to be honest, the second verse reminds me a bit of more recent 3 Days Grace, actually. I really like the drums in this song. Overall, this song might just be my favorite of the playlist so far. And that was true. Beforehand, I considered that Casualty by Mathika, and then Catharsis by Motionless in White did top it at the time. I said, oh, we also got some Screams Light too? Yeah, Catharsis rips. Then I got the song Necessary Evil, which features Korn's Jonathan Davis. And I said this is already giving me a bit of a different vibe. Again, the vocals are familiar, but I've never heard this before. Low-key, Chris's vocals in the first chorus sounded kinda whiny. I think they're fine, but I have a pretty high tolerance to whine. That being said, the song is fine, but I like Catharsis way more. There's more screaming near the end, which I think is cool. Overall thoughts on Motionless in White? They're fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them. Kinda like the previous two artists in the list, Mothica and Halsey. There's one song I like and one song I really don't, though I would genuinely come back to Catharsis. Whereas I couldn't guarantee coming back to either Halsey's song or Mothica's song, so if Mothica's a silver, then Motionless in White is above her in the silver tier. And then we have something that's a completely different vibe, and that is the band The Mountain Goats. Song 1, No Children. I said, okay, we have a different vibe entirely to the rest of the playlist. This really makes me think of Spanish love songs, actually, which of course, if you watch anything here on TGC Radio, you know how much I love Spanish love songs. So I said, this almost feels like if Spanish love songs were a folk band, and so far this kind of fucks. Like, this is very lyrical, and I wouldn't be surprised to learn that the main lyricist is an English major. Are they? I have no idea, but I wouldn't be surprised. And I said, easily my fave song so far. And then we add in the song number 2, Damn These Vampires, and I said, this is different to No Children sonically, but I already like it. And this is a lot more minimalistic musically, and I really fuck with it. Overall thoughts and ranking, I just had a question, like, how have I never heard of the Mountain Goats before? I said, this is easily my favorite. I don't, and then I had to say the last artist, like, I don't know Nessa Barrett, who's the last artist in the list, but I said, I don't think there's any way she's topping this for me. The Mountain Goats are absolutely gold tier. Now, saying that, of course, I wrote this before listening to Nessa Barrett, saying that is really funny because Nessa Barrett surprised me. The first song is Die First, and I said, interestingly, the opening reminds me a bit of Ellie's singing in the Through the Valley trailer for The Last of Us Part 2. Just the beginning, but it reminded me of her vocals a little bit in that trailer.
I'll walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
You're all I ever wanted. So how come I'm still haunted by the thoughts inside my head?
I said, I like this a lot, though. This song, I said, to me, feels like if Echosmith wasn't so positive, and obviously the music Nessa Barrett's making isn't the indie rock, indie pop sound that Echosmith has either. But yeah, it does remind me a bit of Echosmith. Like, the first song, Die First, really kind of reminds me of, like, almost like an alternate universe Echosmith. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. But I really like the song. And song number 2, for Nessa Barrett, I Hope You're Miserable Until You're Dead. And I said, ooh, I like the start of this song. The vocals remind me a bit of Audra's vocals on Concrete Castle's second record, Brand New Me. And in saying that, I like the song a lot. The Concrete Castle similarities really work for me, and I really like this song as well. Overall thoughts? I was definitely surprised by Nessa Barrett. She's easily my second favorite artist in this list. Both songs remind me of a different band that I like a lot, but again, the similarities just work for me. I'd gladly listen to both of these again. I don't know if I would listen to either of these songs more than the Mountain Goats, but Nessa Barrett definitely is in the same tier, gold. And that was my side of things right there. Again, the biggest standouts to me were the Mountain Goats and Nessa Barrett, who I think are easily both gold tier. And I was very surprised, and they're definitely going to be sliding into my regular rotation. Now we move on to who I gave my sister. So the first artist I gave her was Saint, of course, Tay from Way the Ending Crowd, her solo project, and I gave her 2 songs from that first and so far only record, Smile and Wave. I gave her With or Without Me and If You Ever Feel Alone, and I've got 2 little sticky notes because she did this while she was at work. So, that being said, overall she gives Saint an 8 out of 10. She likes Tay's voice, and the instrumentals give good vibes. She likes With or Without Me a little bit more than If You Ever Feel Alone. She gives that With or Without Me a 9 out of 10, and If You Ever Feel Alone a 7 out of 10, which gives the 8 out of 10. And then I gave her 2 songs from Echosmith. I wanted to give her a deep cut, which is also my favorite song from Talking Dreams. Little did I know, she's actually already listened to all of Talking Dreams. But gave her my favorite song from Talking Dreams, Safest Place. And I also gave her the lead single for the self-titled Echo Smith record that came out last year, Hang Around. She already likes Echo Smith, that's all she said. And she gave both Hang Around and Safest Place a 9 out of 10. Which feels very good to me, because again, like, I love both those songs so much. I love Echo Smith. I love all three of the records. Even like the more pop-leaning Lonely Generation, I think is great. Now, we've got Against the Current, which right away she just says, love Chrissy, which I mean, that's fair. Who doesn't love Chrissy? And then she didn't write any other notes for that besides she gave Good Guy, which was the first song I put in the playlist, one of their more recent tracks. She gave Good Guy 9 out of 10 and gave Young and Relentless a 7 out of 10. Which, that's fair. That's fair. I would probably do about the same, actually. Okay, so the next band is Spanish Love Songs, and I was genuinely very surprised looking at the rankings. Again, she didn't really give any notes on Spanish Love Songs, but right away she did the rankings for Losers 2 and Haunted. Because yes, I did give one from Brave Faces Everyone and one from No Joy. I felt the need to. Because like, I had a feeling she'd like Brave Faces Everyone, but I had no idea how she would feel about Haunted. You know, like the very obvious, like more alt-rocky, synth-driven, and in a way almost kind of like Americana vibe of No Joy with a lot of those songs. I had no idea how she'd think. But literally looking at the rankings for both, she gave both a 10 out of 10. So I mean, I think I did good on that one. I think I did pretty good on that one. And right away, though, she did give a note. And she said that she really likes the kind of like warble in Dylan's voice. And just went, Midwest Emo, question mark? Indeed. Midwest Emo, indeed. And then the final band that I gave her would be The Main. Now, she does already know The Main, and she likes John's voice a lot. But I wanted to give her two songs from Lovely Little Lonely, the 2017 record. Because the two songs I gave her are two of my favorites from the band, period. I love both these, and I gave her Black Butterflies and Taxi. And I actually meant to flip those two around, because on the record, Black Butterflies goes into Taxi, but I added Taxi first. And I did it on mobile, where you can't adjust the order in playlists, so yeah. But regardless, she gave Taxi a 7 out of 10 and Black Butterflies a 9 out of 10. That's about what I expected. I didn't think she would like Taxi as much as Black Butterflies. Again, because I told this to her earlier today as well, like, Taxi, again, I feel like John's voice in Taxi has a very obvious, like, country influence, country flair, and yeah, I didn't think she'd like Taxi as much, but she did so like both. And of course she said, different than The Main that I've listened to, but she does still think John's voice is a vibe. So that was that. If I had to guess based on her rankings, I mean, she seemed the most interested in both Saint and Spanish Love Songs, two that she'd never heard of before. And those two immediately slotted into like her own like rotation. She seemed very impressed with Hang Around specifically, which I thought was really cool. I mean, Hang Around, admittedly, was a really safe pick from the self-titled record. Because, I mean, that's, like, the most similar to Talking Dreams on that record. And that record as a whole is them kind of going back to their roots. So, I mean, it was a pretty safe pick, but it's also my favorite on the record, so, you know, hey. I didn't actually know how she would feel about those two specifically. Like, I had a feeling she'd probably really like Good Guy, but Young and Relentless, I didn't know, because again, more of a deeper cut on In Our Bones, more from like, they're just kind of like straight up pop rock side earlier on. I don't know. I do absolutely love how much she ended up loving Spanish Love Songs. That feels great, and I did right away tell her, okay, so if you really like Brave Faces Everyone, or I said right away, like, if you really like Losers 2, and she said that was the one she did prefer to Haunted, I said, if you really like that one, check out, for sure, Brave Faces Everyone. And then if you like that, you can go back to Schmaltz, the record right before it. Both are great. I love both a lot. Of course, I like their entire catalog. Minus Giant Sings the Blues, because I haven't listened to their first record yet. I'll get around to it eventually. I will. I just haven't done that yet. again, I basically expected, though, that those 2 tracks from Lovely Little Lonely, I expected them to, I expected that. I expected that ranking. I actually expected both those songs to be ranked a bit lower, to be honest. Like, because again, the very obvious, kind of, country influence on both of them, I felt like she just wouldn't like them as much. Because, she doesn't like anything about country, so. But no. She seemed to like both a lot. And like Black Butterflies even more. So yeah. That was me giving my sister 5 bands that I love a lot, 2 songs from each, and her doing the same for me. And that's how both of us felt about all of those. How we'd rank them, even though she did number rankings and I did the gold, silver, bronze, etc. Once we found out right away that there was at least nothing that we disliked, we were both pretty happy with that. So that was pretty cool. And if you want to see something like this again, let me know. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye, guys.